Hey everyone, we are going to start chapter 15 today, which is an 8th grade chapter, but it's pretty much just an extension of the last chapter you did, chapter 9 on surface area and volume. Okay, we did a lot of circle work in that chapter as well as in chapter 8 dealing with area of circles and things. So this first section is volume of cylinders. And your question is, how does the formula for volume of cylinders compare to the formula for prisms? And if you look at the formula here, it's volume equals base area times height. So although a cylinder is not a prism, finding the volume of it functions the same way. You take the area of the base and multiply it by the height. So you kind of already know how to do this. Like I said earlier, this is an 8th grade chapter. So the expectation is to use the pi button. Okay, you won't see, sorry, my allergies are so bad today. You will not see use 3.14 for pi because the expectation is you just leave everything in terms of pi to the very end and then just use the pi button. Okay, so make sure you're using the scientific calculator in Big Ideas, online, on your phone, or if you have, a scientific calculator like this, okay? Because there are some fancy little tricks here with like parentheses and things like that. Okay, so let's look at example 1. We are going to find the volume of a cylinder. Thinking back to the formula for area of a circle, you remember that the area of a circle is pi r squared. So we're just going to work with that. Volume equals base area times height. So the volume is equal to pi r squared times height. Okay, we're good to go. Volume equals pi. Your radius is right here. 3 squared times the height of the entire cylinder is 6. So volume equals 3 squared is 9. 9 times 6 is 54. The volume is 54 pi. Okay, and then in your calculator, you would literally just click. Let me get this all cleared out. 54 times, and then find your pi button, hit equals, okay? So, and I believe the directions say to the nearest tenth, so this is 169.6 meters cubed. Okay, so it's very similar to what we've been working on. It's just kind of stepping it up a notch. Working through a little bit of 8th grade content. Things like this example here. For example, it says to find the height of the cylinder. Okay, so this is our unknown here. We have the volume, so we're going to work it out. I know that volume equals base area times height. Make this a little bigger for you. Okay, the volume is 314 inches cubed. It was given here, equals pi r squared. Well, the diameter is 10, so the radius is 5 squared times the height that I do not know, 314. And then this is 25 pi h. Okay? And then I'm going to divide both sides by 25 pi. This is where scientific calculators can get a little fancy, okay? So for example, my calculator here, and I'm gonna, well, you can see it pretty well, all right? I can actually type 314 divided by, and then I need to group this 25 times pi. So I actually have parentheses. I can go like that and say 25 pi. Okay, and that way I'm telling my calculator to follow the order of operations. And I get 3.9979 and goes on and on and on. My directions tell me to round to the nearest whole number. So this is about 4. So my height is about 4 inches. Now, if you can't figure out all the fancy scientific calculator stuff, just take 25, multiply it by pi, right? 25 pi is about 78.5398, and you can just use that and divide by 314 by that. So you don't have to use all the fancy scientific calculator tricks. However, they are very, very nice. Okay, now I want you to pause it. And I want you to try questions 1 and 2 on your own. Question 1 is just like the first example I gave you. Question 2 is just like the second example. Keep in mind though, here's the diameter given, and remember we need to use the radius. So go ahead and pause it and give those 2 a try. Okay, hopefully you paused it. Number 1, you get 240 pi, which is about 754.0 feet cubed. And question 2, when you leave it in terms of pi, you get 11 over pi, which is about 3.5 centimeters for the height. So hopefully you did okay with those 2. All right, we're gonna look at example 3 here. It says, how much salsa is missing from the jar? So if you look at this, you can see that there's some salsa here. The height of my cylinder was 10 centimeters. There's 4 centimeters of salsa left, which means 6 centimeters of salsa have been eaten. So we can kind of look at it as a height of 6 centimeters, okay? So I know that it is volume equals base area times height. Volume equals pi r squared times height. Volume equals pi. My radius is 5 squared. And my height is going to be 6 because that's how much is missing, okay? So the volume equals 5 squared is 25. 25 times 6 is 150 pi. And that's equal to 471 centimeters cubed. So there is 471 centimeters cubed salsa missing from the jar. Somebody is busted. Okay, last example here. Example 4. About how many gallons of water does a water cooler bottle contain? 1 cubic foot is about 7.5 gallons, okay? So is it 5.3 gallons, about 10 gallons, 17 gallons, or 40 gallons? All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is find the volume of the cylinder and then do my favorite thing and set up a proportion. So volume is equal to base area times height. Volume is equal to pi r squared times height. The diameter is given, you guys, so we need the radius, and the radius is 1/2 foot, okay? So don't get tricked up and use the numbers they gave you. Make sure you look to see if it's the one that you need. Pi times 0.5 squared times the height of 1.7, okay? This is equal to 0.5 squared times 1.7 is 0.425 pi. So this is about equal to 1.33552 feet cubed, okay? So that's the volume of the water here, but we want to figure out how many gallons. Well, what do we know? We know that feet cubed over gallons, those are my words for my words first. I know that 1 cubic foot is about 7.5 gallons. And this bottle of water has 1.3352 feet, so that's how many gallons? Cross multiply. X is about 10.014, so it's about 10 gallons. So the answer is B. Okay? So very similar to what you already know how to do, just a little bit of an extension. Use the pi button. Use your scientific calculators. Leave things in terms of pi until the very end, and you should be okay. Alrighty, see you later.